In this video, I'm going to show you how to put WLED onto one of these NodeMCU controllers. These controllers are really awesome because they are Wi-Fi capable. You can mount them anywhere around your house as long as they can connect to your network, and you can have them do a number of things. But in our application, we're going to have them run WLED in order to control our addressable LEDs. So let's get started on that. So the first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to search WLED on your search browser. Click on here on the GitHub link. You're going to go over to releases, scroll down, and for the NodeMCU, you're going to need this one right here, the WLED. This is the 0.11.0 ESP8266.bin. So you're going to click on that, go ahead and save it, which I've already got it saved. And then in order to flash this onto the NodeMCU, you're going to need a real simple piece of software called ESP Home Flasher. So you're going to search that. It's also it's on GitHub. So click, go over to releases, and then pick your particular operating system, which I'm using Windows and I already have installed, but you would install it for whatever your operating system is. So once you have that installed, let's go ahead and open that up. This is what it looks like, and be sure that when you plug in your NodeMCU to whatever computer you're going to be installing this on, make sure that you have a cable that is capable of transferring data, not just a charging cable. So once you get that plugged in like we do here, go ahead and pick serial port, and you'll just pick whichever COM port that it assigns it to. Mine happens to be COM3. And then under firmware, you're going to browse, find that file, which I already had it downloaded, so here it is. And then you're going to hit flash. And it'll take a second to erase because I already had it installed on there, so it's going to actually have to erase it first and then install it, but generally it takes 30 seconds tops. And once it's complete, you'll see done, flashing is complete. And so now the next part is setting up your node to be able to connect to your network. So I'm gonna just kind of film my phone, like how I would go about doing that. So let me close out of this. So what you'll do is you're going to, let me get this where you can see it a little bit better. What we're going to do is you're going to go to your Wi-Fi, and you want to see like all your different, like if you're going to pick a different Wi-Fi access point, and you're going to see, might be kind of hard to read, but WLED AP, and that is basically, this is broadcasting its SSID out. So we're going to sign into that, so you're going to click on it. And mine has already got the information saved on my phone, but whenever it asks for a password to sign on to that SSID, you're going to enter in WLED1234. That's all in lowercase. So now that we're signed on to the network, you want to make sure you're still signed on to WLED AP. You're going to go to your browser, and you're going to type in 4.3.2.1. Go ahead and search, and you should see that right there, and that's kind of the welcome screen for LED on this NodeMCU. So you're on your Wi-Fi settings, you're going to want to, right here you got your your SSID to your network that you want this to connect to. Something else important is this will not connect to 5 gigahertz. It will only connect to 2.4 gigahertz. So I'm going to go ahead and enter in my network information. Okay, I've got my information entered in. You also have some other things you can change here, like if you want uh, a specific DNS address, you can change that. I usually just leave it, but if you want to name it something more specific, like where it's going to be, that's also an option. That'd be there, but we're good. So I'm going to go back up and hit save and connect. So the next thing you're going to want to do, if you're going to want to control LED from your phone, is go to your app store, search WLED, and you're going to connect, or you're going to go ahead and download and install that. Let me go ahead and connect back to my network. So I'm going to want to connect to my 2.4 gigahertz network. I have the 5 and the 2.4, so go ahead and connect to your 2.4 gigahertz network. And once you're connected, you're going to open up WLED, which mine has my current setup that I'm running outside, and then I've got some other things that I have been testing. But the great thing about the app is it will discover any NodeMCUs on your network. So go ahead and hit the plus sign and then tap discover lights and let it sit there and find all instances that are on your network. So it found WLED and one other, which is great because I have my setup running my permanent holiday lights, and I also have this on here now. So go ahead and tap the check mark, and right here, this down here is our new instance we just installed on the NodeMCU. So if you look, it might be kind of hard to see, but you actually have each one has its own IP address. So if you wanted to pull this up on your PC, all you would need to do is enter that IP address, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to do the rest of this on my PC. So click on your web browser, and we're going to pull up a new tab. And I'm going to type in 192.168.0.20, and that is our new instance that we just installed. So hit enter, and there you go. Now we have our WLED on our NodeMCU and all set up to the internet. So you can go to PC mode, and it kind of just lets you see everything all at once. But over here is just your color wheel. You have different palettes, which are pretty helpful, but I kind of like to just pick my own colors. And then you have here, these are all of your different effects, which they have some great effects on WLED. On your segments here, what those are for is if you have a long run of lights that are all in one long run, you could say that I want LED 0 through 100 to be in segment 1, and then segment 2 would be LED 100 to maybe 150, and that way you could individually control those strings of lights. And you can even do like mirror effects if you have like the peak of a house and you want it to run up this direction and then also run up that direction and meet in the middle. There's just a lot of functionality there. And then the preset is very cool. I use these for right now for my Christmas setup. I've got I'll actually just show you that instance, which is right here. But I've actually got some for my favorite teams, like their colors. And now with update 11, you can actually go in and assign like an emoji to quick load those presets. And see, I've got 10 different presets, and this is the API command, which is pretty cool. I haven't really gotten into that yet, but I definitely want to get into that. So basically, if you wanted to go in and change this preset, let me go down here. See, I have the preset cycle rolling right now. And so what that does is I'm telling it that I want preset 1 through 10 to run, and that's why I have that checked. And I say I want each preset to run for 30 seconds a piece, and they'll just sit there and continuously run 1 through 10, and every 30 seconds they'll transition to the next. Well, if I wanted to turn that off and say run like a game day preset, I would uncheck that, and then let me close that down. I could either go over here and pick one of these, or I could just select the quick preset, and now it's running it. And if I wanted to go back to my presets, and I'll kind of let me try to show you a little bit how that works. So if I wanted to make a new preset, I'd click preset, and I could just name it, maybe I'll just name it like another game day 4. And you could add a quick load label if you wanted to, and I usually do that from my phone because you have access to all your emojis there easier. So once you have this preset, now you need to actually assign a color and an effect. So if I just wanted to maybe run like a solid red, I could just click red, and this right here is your I believe it's the color intensity, and this one here just kind of you can make the color brighter or more saturated. So yeah, we'll go with like a red, and say I just want it to be solid. If I went ahead and I saved this preset, when I loaded that preset, I would just turn my lights a solid red. But say you wanted to go in and change those. So open this back up. Actually, just make sure it's running, which it is. And then open that up, and this override with state is checked, including brightness and segment bounds, which we don't have any segments set. I don't on my setup. I basically just have a common data wire that runs out to the 3 different runs that I have. So right now, with what all is checked, if I went in and I changed this preset, say I wanted to go to color twinkles, I kind of wish I had a camera set up where you could see the changes, but what I'll do is if you check this peak up here, this will show you what your line of LEDs will look like, which is pretty neat. So yeah, let's say we wanted color twinkles, and right now we have red, and say we wanted to put blue in there also. You would click on this next color. I don't really know what they call this. It assigns the colors to each channel, I guess. So click on 2, and then if you want blue, click blue, and now that's assigned your second color to be blue. And right now down here on color palette, this is a little bit important. This right here tells it what to sample for the colors for this exact effect. So right now, since I kind of want red and blue in it, I've selected colors 1 and 2. So you'll see some other colors, and it kind of depends on what effect you're running. Some effects will only use these colors. Other ones kind of have defaults that they always include a particular set of colors in. So if we went to maybe say fireworks 1D, and I actually run this one on my Christmas setup, but you see it looks like the fireworks shooting off, and then it explodes, and then you have red and blue. And then you could go in here and change, say you wanted red and green, like I'm running for Christmas. Well, then you'd select green, and now they've changed to red and green. So once you have it set like you want, you can go in here and hit save changes. And now this preset that you made, which I just named it Game Day 4, could be anything. Now that preset is going to run this effect and color sequence. So let's see, anything else. So on the app itself, you have most of the same functionality. You have your color wheel, and then you just have your tabs down here. So you have effects that you can go through and change the intensity or the speed of the effect. Like, really, the best way to learn is just to play with it and see what all you can make it do. Next time I'll do this with maybe a small run of LEDs. That way you can kind of have a better visualization of what I'm actually doing when I'm doing it. But I think this is a pretty good start, pretty good video on how to get you up and running with getting WLED loaded onto your NodeMCU. Thank you, and please join me for the next one.